Thank you, listeners, for joining us. It is the day that we go outdoors and we enjoy our public lands today with our local professionals from the Bureau of Land Management to talk about your public lands and all the cool stuff to do. And a lot of this program, we're going to get into it. It's about the heat. It's about the fire danger right now because it is ramping up and maybe to historic levels. So we're going to find out. Clint Mothershed is in the house, and that's a good thing, which means he's not out in the field, not just yet. But before we get into that, Clint, because we're going to save a lot of time for you, we want to find out about all the cool, fun stuff that's going on at the very well-protected California Trail Interpretive Center. If nothing else, there's a wide, defensible space around the Trail Center, and that is really appreciated. Sheryl Miller is a supervisory park ranger with the California Trail Interpretive Center, and you've just got a huge list of fun things, Sheryl, that you brought today.
Oh, yeah. We're turning it on for July, trying to put out all of our best programs so that we can get the whole ELKO community out to the center and doing something fun.
Absolutely. It has been a fun summer already so far. In fact, some of your programs, I noticed the Pioneer ice cream was just like totally sold out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We were standing room only in that room. It was wonderful. And I had to taste the ice cream to make sure it was safe for everyone.
Of course.
You're welcome, everyone. I did that just for you. And it was amazing. Macy did a wonderful job running that program. And since you mentioned it, we have another Pioneer ice cream program coming up on July 19th at 1 p.m. We'd love to see you all out there, but we'd love for you guys to register, please. Just because we have to buy all the ingredients ahead of time. We can only fit a certain number of people in that room. And so if you could please register for the ice cream event, we would really appreciate it.
Of course, we're talking about at the California Trail Interpretive Center. These are free programs, and the Trail Center has free admission. It is just 8 miles west of ELKO. You take the Hunter exit. And this kind of a thing emphasizes how they made their own ice cream, right?
Of course. So we're out there having fun, but of course it's all about learning, at the California Trail Center. So when we start the program, we will start with a little bit of information about how the pioneers would have made their ice cream along the way. And then we start the churning and start the fun. So we have lots of fun activities, but you're right. They're always grounded in education and interpretation, trying to help people get closer to the history and also the resources here in Northern Nevada.
Thank you so much, Sheryl. And we'll back up a little bit and talk more about some of these ongoing July programs. Just about every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now with summer hours, there's something going on.
Yes, we're trying to keep the weekends packed so that everyone's got lots of programs to come out to. We try and mix them up. On this Sunday, we've got Chuck Wagon Aprons with our wonderful volunteer, Brenda, who comes out to lead that. And you don't even have to have sewing skills. You don't have to have any material, no thread. We will provide it all along with Brenda's wonderful instructions. So just come on out and you'll leave with a beautiful handmade Chuck Wagon apron.
That is on Sunday, the 14th, 1 o'clock.
Yep.
And that one fills up fast too. You have an artist in residence, and he is a beloved local artist, by the way, Sheryl.
Absolutely. I am so excited about this one. This is one of my babies that I got handed off when I first started here. So Larry Hyslop, who is a local celebrity, it sounds like he's also a local author. So we'll have all of his books there on display for sale. And he is going to be demonstrating his clay art in the center on July 14th. July 18th through 21st, July 27th, and July 28th. He's going to be out in the foyer at a table from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. demonstrating his skill, demonstrating his craft, and talking to people about what it's like to create art here inspired by Northern Nevada. So I am so excited for us to welcome him. And then at some point in August or September, he is going to donate a piece to the center. We're so excited, and we'll have some sort of reception or public welcome for that piece as well. So artist in residence this month, Larry Hyslop, so excited to have him out.
And it's a bonus with Larry because not only do you get to watch him create the work, the art in progress, but he is so knowledgeable about wildlife as well as places to hike, family-friendly hikes. I mean, he and his wife, they have been recreating in the beautiful backcountry for a couple of decades. It's safe to say, raised their kids, and now their grandkids are enjoying it. So
yeah, I think they are absolutely local gems. And I plan on hanging out at his table and quizzing him about all the awesome hiking trails. So, come on out. You can join me in quizzing Larry, not only about beautiful art, but also like all the cool things to do in town.
yeah, and he loves sharing that information, obviously. So very cool, Larry. Congratulations on the Artist in Residence. And then every Sunday at 11 a.m., you have something called Bows and Throws.
Absolutely. If you are a fan of throwing sharp objects at targets, come on out. We got your thing. We have throwing knives. We have throwing axes. We also have archery, so bows and arrows, of course. And then we also have atlatls, which, if you're not familiar, is sort of an ancient throwing tool. And they're all really, really fun to work with. There's a very short learning curve. So within a few minutes, you can be hitting the target, having fun. Just one caveat on that is that this throwing event, we do need children to be 8 years and older. So everyone 8 years and older, come on out. We'll give you some sharp objects and we'll get out of the way.
Yeah, I was thinking even 8 sounds young, but hey, you guys are skilled in what you do, and I know that you're looking out for everybody. Oh my gosh. So Bows and Throws every Sunday at 11 a.m. this summer, free at California Trail Interpretive Center. And then I heard about one of the bats, my colleague Michelle Smith went on ELKO the Bat here in town a couple of weeks ago, and I heard it was just outstanding, and you guys have got another one coming up.
Yeah, so Ranger Evie led that bat walk at the local park. And it was a huge success. They had so many great people. They heard so many great bats. So we're going to continue on that theme. On July 26th at 1 p.m., we're going to have a story and craft where you'll come in and you'll hear a story about ELKO the Bat, and then you will be making some cool bat crafts while you're there. So come on out, learn about bats. I think people don't understand the really important role that they play in the ecosystem. So again, it's story and craft, but we'll probably trick you into learning a few things about bats too. So be ready for that.
Yeah, be ready to be tricked. And just know that bats truly are our friends of the ecology. Each bat eats literally, pounds and pounds of insects that would otherwise be allowed to multiply. And you see the problem we have with crickets. Too bad they don't eat those.
Yeah. So not only do they eat insects, they're really important pollinators. There are many plants, especially cacti, that will only open their flowers at night. And that's so the bats can come in and drink that beautiful nectar and spread the pollen throughout the ecosystem. So you're right. Bats are so important for so many reasons, maybe even some reasons we don't even understand yet.
Yep. So future scientists and anybody just curious, that is July 26th at 1 p.m. at the California Trail Center. And then tell us about, this is something new, I think. This is cool, an old Western movie night.
Yeah, so we've been trying to mix it up, put a program out there for everyone. Not everyone is into ice cream. I don't understand those people, but not everyone. So those of you that are Old Western fans, we're going to have an Old Western movie night. We're going to be featuring Vengeance Valley on July 20th. It's going to start at 8:45. It will end at 10:30 p.m. For those night owls out there. Come on out to the Trail Center. We will be playing the movie outside. So bring your blankets, bring your chairs, bring your cooler, and bring your kids, and come join us for an Old Western movie night.
Wow, that sounds fun. Old Western movie night featuring Vengeance Valley. It's a Burt Lancaster film. So July 20th, 8:45 p.m. Should be nice. The skies, or if it's clear out there, that'll be really nice to enjoy an evening with friends. Super cool, Sheryl. Again, everything we've been talking about is absolutely free, so that's really cool. And we did want to mention, too, about these time travelers camps. One is going to be getting underway tomorrow, right?
Yeah, actually, they're at the center now. Their
they're
summer camp is underway.
It is. It's July 12th already.
Absolutely. So we're welcoming our first group of time travelers out at the California Trail Center, and we have another camp that we're offering August 16th to 17th. And that is going to be for ages 8 to 13. We've still got a few spots available. We'd love to have you sign up. They're going to be doing lots of really fun stuff, Dutch oven cooking, making pioneer ice cream, gold panning, throwing atlatls, all kinds of fun stuff. I think I was telling you last time, Lori, we took all of our best programs at the center and put them into an overnight summer camp for kids.
Oh, so it is overnight.
It is overnight. You actually get to sleep in the museum, which is really cool.
That is really cool. We know that's been made popular thanks to Diet and the crew at the Northeastern Nevada Museum, of which I know you guys are great partners with all of our various organizations. But here is another away camp, time travelers overnight. It is going to be August 16th and 17th. Sign up now. And what are some of the activities? You said you crammed all the best into this couple of days.
Yeah, so gold panning is going to be something that they're going to get to do. That's one of our most popular programs. They're going to be doing some Dutch oven cooking, which is super fun, not something you get to do every day. They'll be out on the target range. They'll be throwing some atlatls. They'll be using atlatls, bow and arrow, all that good stuff. They took a wonderful nature hike this morning when they first showed up, and this is all led by the Nevada Outdoor School and their AmeriCorps members. So they are just wonderful people that love working with kids, love being outside, and again, it's a fun summer camp, but it's also educational. So if you want your kids to get out, have fun, hang out with other kids, but also learn something, this is a great opportunity to do all of those things.
All right. Sign up through California Trail Interpretive Center, NevadaOutdoorSchool.org. That's where you can get more information from the camp lead, Macy. And again, thanks to those cool partners for the Time Travelers Camp. And hey, have fun, campers. It's already underway this weekend. Great. And then also we want to get into a little bit of August activities because August is already almost here. So tell us about the Cool Canyon Evening, Sheryl.
So we have been invited to partner in Lamoille Canyon on the Cool Canyon Evenings that are being run by Friends of the Rubies, the U.S. Forest Service, and Macy and I will actually be out there if you want to meet us, if you haven't already. And we will be leading some gold panning, again, activities. And this is a really fun one because if I'm not mistaken, there is a campfire and s'mores included in the activity. So come on out and gold pan with us. You can leave with some pyrite, some tumbled gems, and some wonderful s'mores in your belly. So that'll be a fun one up in Lamoille Canyon, August 9th at 6 p.m.
All right. These Cool Canyon Evenings begin August 2nd. They'll take us all the way through the month. And again, it's just as it said, Cool Canyon Evenings, a wonderful way to spend some time. Friends of the Ruby Mountains is a wonderful group. The host includes U.S. Forest Service and the Lamoille Women's Club. And again, these are all at the Powerhouse Picnic area at 6 p.m. So wonderful. That sounds super cool. We'll be talking more about those because there'll be some history. Again, we'll be talking about Dutch oven cooking. And even Joe Doucette's going to be kicking things off with the August 2nd session on how to fish the rubies. And he even has some kids' fishing poles to give away. So that Joe, he's such a good guy. And I think the last thing I have on the list before we start talking about our serious fire conditions with our very patient Clint Mothershed is to mark your calendars. At least the date is it's coming up, but it's the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, Sheryl. And this is the second annual. It's going to be even bigger than the first, which was at the museum, because this one is at the Performing Arts Building at ELKO High School. So even more room for seating, and the doors will open at 6. They'll have films. It's an evening of short documentary films on wildlife, on history and conservation. So it's really kind of underscores all the things we've been talking about. It's what we really appreciate and how we can preserve it for the future, right, Sheryl?
Yeah, for sure. And it's a wonderful way to support the California Trail Center. So if you're wondering how you and your family can support the center and also have a great time, this is a wonderful event for that. Come out to the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, check out the wonderful documentaries, and then also support the center at the same time.
Excellent. We'll be talking more with Paul Gregory about that. He is heading up this, and this is where activism gets inspired. Our very own Wild and Scenic Film Festival coming to ELKO. Wow. Did we get to all your stuff? Because I know you've got to get back to Time Travelers Camp here eventually.
I think we did. We got a lot more stuff coming up in August, but I know we got some fire stuff to talk about. So, we'll pass it on to Clint.
All right. Sheryl, thank you so much again for all the enthusiasm that you bring. I know you love your job, which is super cool. Yeah. Our park ranger, of course, supervisory park ranger from California Trail Interpretive Center. So appreciate that. So Clint's been waiting patiently to, I think, I don't know how to categorize this because it's news we need to know. It's what we need to know, but it's pretty serious. It's looking pretty dire right now, Clint. And you're one of the friendliest people in ELKO, so it can't be fun to talk about how dangerous fire season's shaping up to be.
Pretty concerned right now. Lori, thanks for having me on. Before we get into that, I just wanted to thank everybody in ELKO County for the 4th of July. We only had 2 fires that were started by fireworks usage. And I know that's 2 more than we would like, but in years past, if we would have had, let's just say last year, the fireworks I saw up the street, up by the water tanks, if we would have had that this year, we'd have had fires everywhere. So a big thank you to ELKO County for recognizing the issues and not playing with fireworks as much as years previous. I don't even know where to start with everything I brought in. So
how about we start with a piece of paper that has the most red on it, because that's the one that really got my attention. Fuels and Fire Behavior Advisory. This has been issued. This is a federal issue, Clint. And I mean, in your memory, has it ever been this way before? I mean, we've had historic years for burning.
Yeah, we've definitely had historic years for burning. This is based off of weather station data in certain areas, as well as fuels, moisture, and everything else. And certain areas, we are in historical highs, and some we're just really close, almost there. Either way, it's extremely precarious out there. I would just like to tell ELKO County, just stay inside. Just stay inside until it snows, but I know that's not going to happen. So basically, this fuels advisory is going to be in effect for a while, and it's just an advisory. It's just letting people know how dry we are and where we're at as far as our energy release component, some other scientific things we use to factor in how intense these fires are going to be, how easy they're going to start, how fast they're going to spread, and it's just a bunch of data. But it's basically for not just all of Nevada, but I think all of Utah, southern Idaho, same thing. We're all considered the Great Basin when it comes to dispatching organizations. Like we're our own little mini hub, and every place in Nevada, Utah, and southern Idaho are under this.
So tell us about the fire prevention order. Is that issued locally, Clint?
So the state office put out one earlier in the year, and that's mostly to benefit southern Nevada because they have particular issues centered around shooting-related fires. The fires don't get very big down there, but they get a lot just due to population density. So yes, we are under a fire prevention order. It's not just BLM, it's Forest Service. State parks, you have to ask, and they should have something posted if you can even have a fire camp, charcoal or firewood. I would recommend that everybody just plans on using something pressurized gas, something with an on-off switch, in an actually established camping spot. None of these like roadside spots that aren't really designed as camping spots. We are really, really concerned about what we're going to be looking at. And we have some of the new things for our prevention order that we went into on the 20th of June are centered around campfires, again, using stuff with shut-off valves, smoking, basically either do it inside of a vehicle, a camp trailer, or something, or at least in an area out in the middle of a road. It's at least 3 foot around you with no vegetation whatsoever. And then a big one, and it happens every year, and every time we have seasons like this where people start driving on the 2-track roads and they start fires. Their exhaust, a lot of hot components. Usually the 2-track has the fuel growing up in the middle of it, and these vehicles go over with their exhaust, and maybe they park because they see some wildlife and they want to look at it, and then they keep moving, and wherever they were parked, potentially based off of fuel moisture, temperature, and relative humidity, could start smoldering. And, 10, 15 minutes later, you could have a fire. So we're expecting quite a bit of that, especially as we get closer to hunting season. So just stay on established roads, please. And then hot work. We've already had a fire this year up high early in the year because of hot work, which is welding, grinding. You see a lot of the drill pipe fences around the county. It's people making those and basically just doing their normal duties on a ranch or whatever it is, and utilizing the materials, and they're just grinding in the wrong time of day, the wrong spot, cutting with the cutting torch, welding, whatever it is. That stuff is super hot, as we know, and it's not going to take very much to start fires this year.
I want to call attention to a week or so ago, just at UNR on the rooftop, they had a fire, and that was due to combustible materials. So there were some construction materials, Clint, and what it was is some oily rags that, because of the literal heat on the rooftop, it started a sizable fire. The building wasn't damaged. They got it out, but sent up all this black smoke. But I mean, we have conditions for some really unusual starts.
Oh, indeed, we do. It's going to be interesting to see all the different causes that we have this year. No fire investigation that I do is the same. And so far this year, it's been fireworks, some along roadsides, Interstate 8. That's our biggest issue, is on roads, interstates, highways, dirt roads. The roadside starts due to vehicle maintenance or whatnot. So people, if your vehicles aren't running right, get them looked at before you go out into the back country.
Now, these are all the ways, and obviously shooting sports is important too. Most people are, especially this time of year, they know to use the established ranges. I mean, that's just really the most responsible thing to do. I don't even know if the Spring Creek range is open because it's adjacent to the campground where we had problems before, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Actually, I haven't looked into that, if they are. I know that they do what they can to mitigate fire starts based off of like the climatological and just everything that I've been talking about already. So I'm not sure. The ELKO gun range is a good one for sure to go to. It's got the good backdrops, but there are long range targets out there that have dead grass all around them.
Oh, so, boy. Okay.
The mechanism behind that is you only need 440 degrees to start cellulose material smoldering, and when the bullets strike the metal targets or rocks, they can fragment. Some people say it's impossible, but it is. There's science behind it, and it just smolders and it takes off. It might take 15 minutes for that to get intense enough for it to take off. So if you're going to go to the gun range, I would recommend going really early in the morning. I won't even recommend going at night because the humidities are still really low. And so our best chance at having the highest humidity we can is early in the morning.
So, Clint, the closest sizable fire, I guess, to us so far this season was the Smith fire, right? So anything that we know about, it was human caused because there was no lightning?
Right. It was not. It was human caused, yes. I wasn't part of that investigation, but from what I gather, there was a 2-track road that ran right through it.
Okay.
So it's more than likely related to hot breaks or exhaust.
Okay.
And we're just getting into it. And speaking about that fire, it's not uncommon for this to happen. We just haven't seen it in a while. The fire crews put a dozer line around the fire. It was 25 acres. And they bedded down for the night because they felt, and they have lookouts, and they felt safe with where the fire was at. Everything on the perimeter was extinguished, put out, put to bed. But they actually had the fire internally. We'll get little islands of fuel that don't burn in fires. Even along a creek where the humidity recovery is at its highest at the time of day that it's almost as high as it's going to get this time of year, it's still rekindled and burned another acre.
At 3 in the morning, right?
Yeah. So what we're expecting is fires to burn all night, all day. And we've got a lot of resources ordered, and some are pre-staged, pre-positioned, Jackpot, Battle Mountain, ELKO, Ely, and we're bringing more stuff in. We have a bunch of aviation assets in Wells at the SEAT base, which is a single engine air tanker base, and then I'm sure we're going to have some helicopters coming back over to our area here pretty quick.
And what we need to remind or emphasize too for listeners, this doesn't mean that we're cavalier about how we conduct ourselves in the outdoors because we have this, this setup with all the air and ground crews, because your crews could be dispatched at any time to any place in the country. I mean, that's just the reality, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a standard operation.
Exactly.
We have folks from, I think, Minnesota have come, South Dakota, New Mexico, from all over. And we're going to have, I don't know how many resources we're going to eventually have by the end of the year, but we already have some here. They're helping us out. And so far, the initial attack success rate, which means that you get on a fire and you have it extinguished and pretty much under control within 24 hours, is extremely high. It's in the 99th percentile, I'd have to guess, but it's only a matter of time. And unfortunately, with the weather coming in this weekend, which is what I'll talk about next, we're going to have dry lightning all weekend. We might get some moisture, but probably not enough to correct the conditions that we're in. So we are expecting to have a lot of fire occur. That being said, I wanted to educate the public a little bit. If you do see a fire and it just started and you want to call it in, you can call 911 or you can call the Wildland Fire Dispatch Center, which is 775-748-4000. Before you say, I see a fire, collect your thoughts, think about where you're at, and then they need to know where you're at, what direction. If you don't know the terrain, you don't know hills or mountains or what they're named, what direction are you looking, how far out, take your best guess, and any threats. Those threats could be homes, livestock, and with livestock, we have a rancher liaison program where we coordinate with ranchers throughout the county. They have one point of contact for certain areas. For example, you could take Independence Valley, and there's one point of contact. There might be a couple, but one primary person we contact, and they know the lay of the land so well they can get a hold of the correct rancher to herd the cattle out of harm's way. So it's important that we get the information as fast as we can. You can guess on the size. This year it might not matter so much because they are just going to grow. There is a pretty cool website. Our dispatch center gets pretty inundated with calls when we get busy. So for folks that are just curious on the fire and they want to know, there is a website that the public can access. It's alertwest.live. And what that is, there are mountaintop cameras throughout Nevada, California. And you can actually zoom in on Nevada and click on mountaintop cameras. And certain users have access to move the cameras. They're 360 degree. They have artificial intelligence in them. And what they'll do is they'll pick up either smoke or dust devil, and then it contacts some people at University of Nevada. And then they review the footage to see if it's a dust devil or it's actually fire. And then they will send an email with the best. They do a pretty good job about getting you a WAG. It's just a guess on where exactly, using coordinates, latitude and longitude, where the fire is. So they'll let us know, and then we can, they detect those before a lot of humans will. So we'll get that fire information and we are able to dispatch stuff. So we'll rotate the cameras and take a look, and then the camera will be on there, and people will actually be able to get on there, look in the camera. You can play time lapse on it. Instead of calling in dispatch and you're concerned about stuff, that's probably the best thing to do. And again, that's alertwest.live.
All right, alertwest.live. We'll emphasize that. So everything we're talking about, too, with all these critical resources in place to put out fires, critical resources to detect fires when they're early, but it still doesn't make up for how dry it is, because that's the problem. As you mentioned, ranchers, they know what they need to do to get their cattle out. So homeowners, pet owners, people who have livestock in the backyard, they need to know what to do, right? They need to do their planning now, so in case they need to evacuate.
And unfortunately, if people are thinking about that now, it's a little too late as far as mowing around your homes. I don't want to say it's too late.
Oh, right, creating defensible space.
Creating defensible space. And that's the best way to protect all those things you just spoke about, the defensible space, just mowing all the grass around your residence, taking the juniper shrubs away from the exterior of your homes because they're extremely flammable. They're called little green gas cans. And once they go up with all the oil and resin in them, it's an intense fire. And it's just pulling wood piles away from it, your primary structures. It's really just about looking at what you have, where you live, and just think about if a fire came in this way, how's it going to burn? And just know that these fires are going to burn intensely, even at nighttime. And if you're in Spring Creek, maybe in the trailer section, mobile section, and you haven't done this and you get a fire, you see smoke over the hill, people start talking on social media, and you try to go out there to get out to your home to do something to protect it, it's possible they're not even going to let you in there because there's just limited access and egress, and it's a safety concern for folks to go out there while there's fire. The smoke blows across roads. You can't see. Visibility is an issue for firefighters. And if firefighters see a home that has dead grass all around it, they're going to triage homes, and they're going to pick one that somebody has done a little work around so they make it home safely to their families after they're done with the fire. So it's everybody's best interest to do it. And if you're going to do it, the mowing, all that, charge your hose, means put a nozzle on the end of your garden hose, have it by you when you're mowing, and I recommend doing it early in the morning with those humidities like we talked about, and just pay attention. You might get a spark from a mower blade hitting a rock or a section mark or something like that. So it's pretty important to just be cognizant of what you're doing.
Clint Mothershed is our fire mitigation specialist, education and fire trespass are his specialties as well. And these aren't easy conversations to have, Clint, especially as you talked about, but we don't have enough fire trucks for every single property. But also, parents need to talk to their children because children are home for the summer, a lot of them. Some of them may be watching out for siblings, not necessarily home alone, but it's, they're responsible. And they need to have plans for if there is fire, And they also need to be cautioned about don't play with anything. Don't touch anything that could spark an accidental fire, especially in places like Spring Creek. I know we've had a couple fires already out in Spring Creek this year.
Yeah, so I would just say come with a plan. Every family should have some sort of a plan, evacuation plan. Parents probably working. You're right. Kids might be home on their own. It's going to be a really scary situation for them. But if you rehearse it, talk about it a little bit, you can go to livingwithfire.info, and there's great information on that about what you should think about in a to-go bag. Which is like, what should I take with me in my medication? It's just a list of stuff to look at. But if every family in every household should have some sort of a plan, knowing what they're going to do in case of a fire.
Right. And if you need to go to the neighbors, make sure you've already reached out and established those plans. Communications could be rough. As you said, roads could be blocked. I mean, there are a lot of reasons to really think about. These are congested areas, but it's the urban interface. It's the WUI, as you've talked about a lot, Clint. We're not trying to be scary. We just want it to be realistic so people understand, right? We just plan.
Yeah, when you're talking about the potential that we have here, sugarcoating is not the best route. So I'm just being brutally honest. Just letting people know we're in for a run. And the long-term weather is above average temperatures and below average precipitation through October. So this situation that we're just getting into right now isn't going away anytime soon. So until we get the first super soaking wetting rains of the year, or even snowfall of a few inches, we're facing we're just in high fire danger. We're not quite in extreme yet, but we're going to be there pretty soon. We've initiated discussions about stage 2 fire restrictions. We're already in 1. Stage 2 just kind of limits certain activities even more. So we won't get into that today, but you can find that information on nevadafireinfo.org. You can find out about fire restrictions. There's an interactive map there. Anywhere in Nevada, you want to click on it, it'll tell you if you're under fire restrictions or not. You can look at the, and then below that map is the actual documents. You can click on a link, open it up, and look at what ELKO District fire restrictions are all about. Yeah.
All right. It is a lot, Clint. As you mentioned, and we can kind of close out our program today with just tell us about a lightning, what a bust is, right? Because we've had those in the past, right?
Yeah, it's just we got the monsoon setting up, the North American monsoon down in the southwest, and that moisture does funnel up through the Great Basin. And depending on El Nino, La Nina, sometimes it tracks farther to the east, the main bulk of moisture, and that's what we're seeing this time of year or this year. And so we're still getting residual moisture, but it's not enough to have super soaking rains. So it's going to, due to the convection and the heat throughout the day, we're going to get thundercells developing, and its potential's there for a lot of lightning to be dumped in ELKO County. And not just ELKO County, all of Nevada essentially over this weekend could see quite a few fires.
So again, the advice, even though that there's staging district-wide, lots of suppression resources, it doesn't mean that we are in the clear at all. I mean, we know that firefighting is a tough job, but the entire West is dry, so these resources could be called out to any location at any time. And so we have to do our part. We just have to do our part, not to start fires or engage in risky fire behavior.
Yes, and the part of my job is doing fire investigations, and it's the least favorable part of my job when I have to tell someone that they did something negligent and they possibly are going to have to pay for this fire. Fires aren't cheap. Aircraft alone could bankrupt anybody in ELKO County on a fire. Like it's extremely expensive. And so I just need people to be aware of that fact that when I do my investigations, I do it with my integrity, and I do it the way I've been trained, and I turn that information over to the Department of Justice and U.S. Solicitor's Office, and they take it from there. Individuals who started the fire, the responsible party, might have to deal with me, but it's not up to me ultimately how that case is going to go. So I just want people to be aware that it could be very expensive being negligent.
Right. Certainly loss of property, loss of livelihood. I just can't help but think about Paradise Valley in Humboldt County.
Yeah.
150-year-old ranches destroyed by someone using fireworks. And I don't know that they ever apprehended those folks, but it's caused a lot of deep pain in that community. And
then there was also PG&E, California PG&E
Yes.
started the fire too, and they're paying quite a bit for, I think it was an infrastructure failure due to hot weather or something like that. So we can close it out with fun stuff though if you'd like.
Let's do that,
All right.
Clint, because we're going to send you back to the rodeo.
So tonight, Silver State Stampede, welcome rodeo fans. It is Wildfire Awareness Night, so there's going to be a lot of information on the Jumbotron they have there. There will be firemen and women at the entrance to hand out defensible space stuff, some things for the public. Got some cool Smokey Bear fans to keep the rodeo fans cool down a little bit anyway. I think I have 750 of them, so I don't know how long they're going to last. So first come, first serve on those. This could be a great night. And the rodeo's going on all weekend, but I think gates open around 5.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Okay.
4 o'clock tonight, tomorrow, and then Sunday at 3.
Okay, there you go. And then I just saw an ELKO Daily yesterday about a kids fishing derby up at Angel Lake on July 20th. So there will probably be some sort of a fire prevention booth up there. And then car show, we have the Wells Fun Run car show towards the end of the month, 26th through the 28th. And then a big night in the first Tuesday of August is National Night Out. It's there's so many cops there, even I get nervous, but it's great for the public, the kids to come out and interact with your public servants and to see that they are humans and they do have, like, they're good people. They just, their jobs are what they are, and so it's a good way to be able to interact with them like an interpersonal basis, not just having someone up in front of a crowd talking. It's actual conversations face to face. So, and there's gonna be tons of who knows what kids can get. They leave it. Swag bags filled to the brim with all sorts of stuff. So it'll be a fun time. It
really will. They give them the police fix the hot dogs and hamburgers. I mean, that's what I was thinking. It's like they actually cook the food too.
Yeah. Free food. I think the local entertainers provide a little bit of music, and it's a really big event. I think a few thousand people attend it. So.
Well, Clint, it's always hard to let you go at the end of the July show because, first of all, we have you here in July, which is wonderful. But it's not likely you will be here in August, and hopefully you will, because that means that we're having a decent season. So.
I'll have a lot more to talk about in August.
You'll come back then. Okay, good.
As long as I'm not on a fire, I'll be here.
Well, and that's it. We know that if Clint Mothershed's on a fire, things are going down. So, yeah. So do everything you can. The lightning strikes are going to be something we can't control, but we can control our other activities and behaviors.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Ultimately, if you took 10-year sample of fires, it's about 50-50, 50% human, 50% natural or lightning. So there's 50% of the fires that we could possibly stop before they even start, just by being aware of what's going on out there. So with that, just be careful out there, Uncle.
All right, Clint, thank you so much for all your care. And Clint Mothershed with the ELKO District Bureau of Land Management, fire mitigation specialist. Education, obviously, is an important role for him, as well as inspecting those fires. And Sheryl, I want to thank you. You waited out the last half of the show quietly in the corner. Anything that you thought of that we didn't mention about California Trail Interpretive Center?
I would just say, come on out with your family. We'd love to have you out. And every day we also have different pop-up programs, Gold Fever, so you never know what's going to be happening. Just come on out and have some fun, and maybe, just maybe, you'll learn something.
Yeah. Well, you're having a blast. Thanks so much, Sheryl. Free admission, California Trail Interpretive Center. Thanks to Clint Mothershed. Enjoy your public lands, but recreate responsibly. Thanks for listening to ELKO Live on KELK.